Ah. Ba-da-da-da-dum-bum, ba-bum-bum, ba-da-da-dum-bum, ba-bum-bum, ba-da-da-dum-bum, ba-bum-bum, ba-bum-bum, ba-bum-bum. Drink all in my cup, man, hold up. Oh, Cody! Get away with you. I want to get Aaron Jackson. What is up, my guy? Cody.
What is up? What is up? What is up? Hold on, give me 1 sec.
You check this out. Something about you, baby, drives me crazy. Something about these pretty girls knows blind minds. Jared Key, what is up, man? Jason, boy, I'm sorry, boys. I'm sorry. I just got back from eating wings. I went to B Dubs, had a couple brewskis, feeling a little too good. If you haven't, guys, you got to go to B Dubs and you have to ask for the wings, lemon pepper with hot, mix them together. Best freaking wings you ever have. Am I right, Cody?
You're right.
Absolutely right, guys. Now, I don't know how long we're going to go on. I'm pretty turned up. I'm not sure how long Cody's girlfriend is going to let him go on, but that's something.
What is going on?
Cody, how has your week been before we start this off, man?
You were cutting out there. What'd you say?
I said, how has your week been, my guy?
Been pretty good. Can't complain. About to start a new job next week.
Oh, you quit your kitchen making job?
Yeah, because I got a different job offer that I can make a lot more money doing.
Jeez Louise, Jordan Alvarez first game back with the Houston Nationals blast is a home run. We have a lot of things to talk about, Cody. Texans training camp starts today. So before we get this started, where's your new job going to be at, brother?
So all around Houston, I'm going to be selling roofing.
Oh, you're going to be a marketer.
Yes, sir.
How you feel about that?
I'm, a little. I'm excited to say the least. It's my buddy. He actually started his own business, and of course, starting a new business is kind of skeptical.
Yeah.
But his dad also started his own business back in the day from scratch, and he sells he makes custom grill pits, and he sends dude, there's like a year waiting list.
Dude, I think I just saw them yesterday talking to 2 Chainz.
Dude, yeah, Gator Pit. That's it.
Yeah. It's a 1-year wait for his pits. But let's go on because the boys are obviously here to talk about the Houston Texans. First day training camp, key takeaways were that Jordan Thomas looked fantastic today. Now this is to me surprising because I've been saying for the past couple of months that Jordan Thomas is the odd man out. Darren Fells leads tight ends, for a quarter of the year with touchdowns in the red zone. Well, actually, he was the best tight end in the red zone with I think 7 touchdowns or 8 touchdowns. Not too sure. Jordan Akins was a great tight end after the catch yesterday. Had 16 yards out of the catch. Everybody remembers that long 64-yard touchdown against the Charger. He just absolutely ran through. You're thinking that that Kahale wearing the water polo tight end is going to be absolutely fantastic, right? You're thinking that he's going to come up. But apparently Jordan Thomas has balling out today. But before we get it, let me give a shout out to Deborah Milo. Guys, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the channel. That was for my boy Johnny, one of my best friends. His wife makes amazing cookies. Johnny, do me a favor. Please send me the link, and I would definitely shout out your boys, shout out the company in a video. Cody, they make the best freaking cookies out there, man.
I have to give them a
No. This is what they did. She made. Oh, Patrick Storm says he is sad, but don't be sad, Patrick Storm, because in your DMs in a couple seconds, it's gonna be an invite to this stream. As you know, guys, Patrick Storm.
What is up, Josh?
He brings the freaking storm. This dude dropped. Like I said, you have to have Patrick Storm like notifications turned on, because this is the type of dude that could wreck your day, and you'd be like, dang, you know.
Until he starts tweeting about the Red Sox,
And then he starts, he starts tweeting about the Red Sox. We don't want no part about that, you know. Mr. Handel, welcome. DJ Amazing, welcome. Aaron Nagel, welcome. Braden, welcome. Harley, yes. You're in a 3-run bomb. Duke Ejiofor tears his ACL today, and this is, if you remember, I was saying that this is going to be a big year for Duke Ejiofor. We all know how gifted he is as a pass rusher. The problem is that he cannot stay healthy, and it's going to be a huge issue if he cannot. Thursday tears his ACL. I think this is the end for Mr. Duke Ejiofor as a Houston Texan.
Sorry, I was reading that comment. Yeah, man. I mean, he had this problem, a little injury problem before the draft. Like, he was a projected 3rd-round guy who fell to 6th because of a shoulder injury. So, yeah, dude, it's disappointing because he could have been fighting for the backup Sam linebacker spot with Jacob Martin, potential pass rush, situational pass rush guy. You know, it is disappointing to say the least. I mean, he had very high potential, but just couldn't stay healthy. And Mr. Hard Handle, it's Friday night. Of course I'm drinking.
It is Friday night, man. How can you not drink on a Friday night? But I mean, it's a little, it hurts a little bit, man. You know, we expected him to be actually a huge part of this defensive line. You know, so is there going to be somebody else, you know, that we're going to have to go get? I mean, I know Mr. Patrick Storm dropped the bomb on Texas Unfiltered, saying that, you know, Bill O'Brien himself has called Mr. Jadeveon Clowney and talked about the potential, you know, coming back. Now, I want to get on that for a second. I'm pretty sure you heard it, Cody. How does this make Bill O'Brien look that he called Jadeveon Clowney and said, hey, I basically fucked up and I apologize?
Yeah, I mean, y'all know me. I'm not on the O'Brien train whatsoever, you know. But mad props for manning up, nutting up, and calling, you know, JD and apologizing, saying it's your fault. Like, that took some balls. So OB earned some respect back for me.
Yeah.
You know, it might not happen, but even the fact that he can admit he was wrong is a step up for me. So that's just kind of where I'm at. Mad props. If he can get him, great, but it's looking like he's going to go to Tennessee.
It's looking like he's going to go to Tennessee, which is absolutely tough. You can't really blame the guy. But first of all, guys, when I was talking about those cookies, feel free to hit up Hey Sugar on, you know, have one of the best cookies out there. Custom made cookies, Deshaun Watson cookies, Post Malone cookies. But yeah, I mean, I would love if he came here, man. You know, he's a Super Bowl type of player. I'm sorry, he's a Super Bowl move that you make if you're the Houston Texans. You bring him back, and your defense is now set. All the problems you have magically get erased with the addition of Mr. Jadeveon Clowney. You know, what will it take to, like, force him to come here? I don't know. You know, it's going to be a lot of recruiting. I mean, he lives by Will Fuller. You know, a lot of recruiting, but hopefully, man. I mean, I know this might not happen, but there has to be a chance that the Houston Texans at least try to get. Anthony said, what's up? Mr. Handel called Cody a drunk. Yo, Jetski said, what is up, Jetski, man? Love you, bro. Yeah, we need DJ. He said, do your thing. Jabal Sheard. Something that is very interesting, Cody. I know you know a lot more about Jabal Sheard than we do.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's definitely interesting. But, look, Duke was fighting for the backup role behind Whitney Merciless with Jacob Martin for the Sam linebacker spot. And I don't know if we're going to bring in a big name, you know, like Clay Matthews still on the free agency market.
Now he becomes interesting.
Well, he becomes repetitive is what he is, because he does the same thing and plays the same position as Witt, and we just paid Witt. We're going to play him. Right?
Yep.
So I don't know if we bring in a guy like Jabal Sheard. as much as maybe a young guy, a no-name guy that has some potential. You know what I'm saying? Like Jacob Martin last year. Um, if Wade goes down, then Jabal Sheard's an option, then Clay Matthews is an option. But I don't know if we're gonna go for like one of those bigger name vet guys. I think Texans cap said today to wait until all the cuts are made because there's gonna be a veteran that's cut right before the season starts that you're gonna be able to pick up.
Yeah, and also it doesn't help that Everson Griffin was picked up by the Cowboys on a cheap deal, 1 year, $6 million. Hurt my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows how high I was on Everson Griffin, how much I needed the guy to get here. But Aaron asked, "What's the latest on AB?" I don't think there's any latest news whatsoever. He's somebody who you have to bring in, man. I think at one point you have to bring in Reuben Cookies. No, it's actually my friend's company. DJ Mazin said, "Can I call in?" We're not there yet. We're still broke. We're we're still in the process of getting something. Louis said, "What up?" Austin Tucker said, "I don't see any likes." Yeah, guys, please feel free to like the stream, share it. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't. Quote so far is screw the Titans, screw the Crows. Jack can go suck an eggplant. So everybody knows how I feel about. I'm not worried about the Titans whatsoever, Cody. Whatsoever. The Titans.
Even if they sign Clowney?
Oh, even if they sign Clowney, I'm upset. But
I don't know what defense we compare to, man. It's really tough. Look, we were the 19th overall defense last year. We didn't improve a whole lot. You got a rookie coordinator coming in. You replace. I don't even want to say replace because they're not really playing the same position, but Blacklock for Reader. Blacklock won't have as much impact as Reader did as a rookie as Reader did last year. You get what I'm saying?
Well, apparently today in training camp, Blacklock looked like Aaron Donald out there.
Dude, I mean, we always hear stuff like that. Like you were saying earlier with Jordan Thomas. Jordan Thomas looked good, right? Deontay Foreman looked good too, but right before we cut him. You know what I'm saying? There's coach talk that goes through all this training camp. I saw someone today. It was like, what's the one thing you hear every offseason? It's like blank is in the greatest shape of their life. Oh, guess what O'Brien said about David Johnson today?
Well, hold up. David Johnson looks absolutely jacked.
I get that, but I'm just saying that's something you hear every year.
Yeah, but it wasn't just like not in the best shape of his life. He said he's the best in shape on the team.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get you.
And he looks like a dude. Looks like he's on steroids. Who's to say he don't ball out weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4, then gets PED tested? He looks absolutely jacked, man. He looks crazy. Jetski says Clay Matthews is an option. Don't really see it because, like Cody says, he's playing the same stuff as Witt. Clay Matthews did have 8 sacks last season. Very, very still being able to get to the pass rusher. Nesto, what is up? Welcome to the stream. Maxo has the same question we all has is, so how B-Mac is still butt in coverage? And, we talked about this with Mr. Cody Stutes a while back. He said that just something just hasn't clicked in, Bernard McKinney yet about maybe he's a little behind in play recognition in the pass coverage game. But, I mean, he is a liability out there. And that is why you hope for players like Dylan Cole. If Dylan Cole can stay healthy, he is the best Texan in coverage. I did a highlight video. I think I did a video on him a couple weeks ago. He's going to be special if he stays healthy. And that's just kind of the narrative for this whole Houston Texans team is if they stay healthy, this team could be damn near very good.
Dude, I was thinking about something earlier today. What would be something cool to see, I think, and it won't happen unless it's in like a sub package, just because he hasn't been playing the position and we need him to play middle linebacker. But for McKinney to play Sam linebacker, that rush in linebacker, and
then rush him off the edge. I know Texan Stars did a thing about him, but I do remember back then, Romeo was blitzing him. He had 5 sacks one season. He's not no scrub out there.
He's big enough to set the edge. He already plays good run defense, and he can blitz. He just can't cover. Your Sam linebacker's not asked to cover all that much.
I mean, that would be good, and then switching the other guys, moving them up in the depth chart.
But we can't do that because you can't trust Dylan Cole to stay healthy.
And that's why you should have drafted Marcus Bailey out of Purdue. Bengals got him.
Bengals
Play
got 3 linebackers, man. They wanted my
good linebackers.
Akeem Davis Gaither too. I wanted him too.
Hold up. Yeah. So Cody, Deshaun Watson said something today, and kind of, I don't know if it was a shot per se, but he was like, they asked him what was going to be his favorite route, and basically he was like, the go route to 12, go route to 13, go route to 15, and you're like, what did he say last year was his favorite play? Go route to number 10. Well, as we all know, DeAndre Hopkins couldn't run the go route. Now we can.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely interesting. I mean it's a big play. It's a nice play. I mean it looks great. You feel great after you get it done, And I don't blame him for saying that's his favorite route, but like we talked about when we first signed kind of Cooks and stuff, is watch for a lot of that underneath stuff. And let them go get the yards. Just quick pass, let the receivers go get the yards. So I get where he's coming from, but I don't think that's just going to be the straight up offense. Like I don't think it's going to be like an air raid offense,
I hope it is. I hope he shuts everybody's mouths up. I mean, and I thought that too, a lot of the underneath stuff, but with his concussion problems, I wouldn't feel safe running that underneath stuff. And that's why I think Randall Cobb plays a big part in this Houston Texans offense. I talked to a Cowboys YouTuber the other day. He was like, hey, you guys got a very good player in Randall. He was like, yes, but when they needed a big play, Randall Cobb was there.
So, I mean, that's funny you said my co-host is a Cowboys fan, of course, but if anybody doesn't know in the chat, he said, Randall Cobb was good. The 800 yards you can't deny, but he benefited a lot off of having 2,000-yard receivers to each side and then a 1,000-yard running back behind him.
Which the Houston Texans could probably have if everybody stays healthy.
Maybe. But and then also drops. You said that the thing was with the drops with him, it was in critical situations. Third down, and he dropped the ball to get the first down, Another thing that doesn't show up that nobody really talks about is he was on the injury report week in, week out with a back issue. Yeah. Now, if he's not playing for a contract, then he might miss more games than he did last year. Like, if he already had a 3-year contract in place, he has no reason to rush himself back to the field. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah, he's going to be here for the next 3 years.
That's my concern with Cobb. Definitely a nice career receiver, especially for the slot. We haven't had one of those in a while. But 30 years old, the injuries are still a problem. You want me to touch on that one?
Let me get to that. Who do you think will have? Well, first of all, guys, please smash that like button. I didn't know it played a big part in these live streams. But Darren Davis, welcome to the chat. Always love you, bro. Darren Davis, a veteran of the 713 Houston Sportcast, been here when I was at barely 200 subs. Also Cody at 150 subs. Cody, the man, JW Football Talk. But going back to the question, who do you think will have the bigger impact? Blacklock. I think Blacklock. Oh, okay, hold on. Oh, okay. I saw you shake your head.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was agreeing with you.
I think Blacklock is going to be thrusted in. Given that what we heard today at training camp, John Harris said he couldn't take his off of the new number 90, and why could you not? I mean, you draft him number 40. He should have been a first-round pick, but due to this COVID situation, a lot of great players fell in the draft. Ross Blacklock happened to be one of those players. And, he's very good against the run. He needs to develop his pass rushing skills. But who's to say that he just starts dominating and he learns from a side J.J. Watt? And that's why I'm excited for Blacklock, Grenard, even P.J. Hall, because, given what you want to say about, J.J. Watt, people are going to look up to him. So I'm excited at what Mr. Blacklock could do.
So definitely, it's got to be Blacklock. Blacklock's going to
has to be
a ton more playing time than Grenard this season, guys. I asked Ruben to talk about the depth chart of the defense a little bit later, so I'll explain my reasoning on this. I expect if Blacklock's not starting week 1, he's starting by at least week 4. I would expect week 2, maybe even the middle of week 1. I mean, you drafted him at 40. Like that's 8 picks after the first round. He's essentially a first round pick. And then it was 50 picks later that he drafted Grenard at 90. You know, Grenard's going to take some. He's a third round pick. I mean, he's going to take, especially this offseason, take some time to learn. And then outside linebacker, especially the position he's playing, he's got to learn a lot more than most like what Blackhawks got to learn. It's just that they're asked to do a lot more and coverage and stuff like that. So definitely Blacklock.
Jeez Louise, sorry to interrupt. Bottom of the first, Astros are up 9-1. Bottom of the first, ladies and gentlemen. You know, but going back, I mean, I hope it's Blacklock. Jonathan Grenard also looks very good. A lot of people are really, really high on him. I mean, you've seen Jordan Texans. I just dropped a video about him a couple of days ago. You know, also shout out to Jordan, man. Dude's absolutely killing it. The meta, yo, what is up? Aaron Nego things. What do you think the Texans consider Damon Harrison? No, because we just signed PJ Hall. You know, I heard a lot.
The Damon Harrison ship has sailed, guys. We talked to him. He declined that we were almost close to a deal. And then they brought in who's the guy that we actually we didn't sign. We didn't end up signing the guy from Philly. Why can't I remember his name? You know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Tell me in the chat.
No, actually, chat, do not tell us. I want to figure it out.
Timmy Jernigan.
Damn it. Yeah.
Timmy Jernigan. And then we let him. Timmy Jernigan was the backup plan of Damon Harrison, and then we didn't sign him because we drafted Blacklock. So Damon Harrison, I don't even know if he's going to play football this season. I think he might retire. So I think he's just kind of he's out of the running altogether.
Here's a good question. Who's going to be our 1,000-yard wide receiver? I'm going to say Kenny Stills.
Are you joking?
Yeah, obviously. I'm going to go Will Fuller. I'm going to go Will Fuller.
If he can stay healthy, for sure.
He needs to be PED tested as well.
Brandon Cooks is the safer pick. To talk about this in my fantasy video. Brandon Cooks is the safer pick because he's only missed 2 games, but how many ever years. But Will Fuller has the higher upside, and if he can stay healthy, dude,
it's all systems up.
Yeah, I'm higher on him than anybody else on the receiving core. So just gotta stay healthy.
Angus, shout out to Angus. Well, please come back in our group chat. Ejiofor probably done in Houston. Sadly, I feel terrible for him. Like, what are your thoughts? It sucks because we know he was a very good pass rusher for a 6th-round pick. Injuries happen in the NFL, and when it happens back, the first day of training camp, that's pretty much that sign that your body is breaking down. And we hope that he finds a way to get on to back into the field, but it's probably not going to be with the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Someone else will give him a chance,
I would bring him back if the dude took like $50,000 a year, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. So you want to talk about what you think the depth chart is for the defense, or not even the depth chart, but like what's your optimal starting defense, and like the subs.
First of all, let's get to this question, and then I want to get to it because with Deuce injured, what are the odds we bring back Clowney? You see, I actually thought about that. I was like, man, if I was like, I texted Patrick Storm, I was like, well, now you got to go get Clowney. I would throw $20 million at the dude.
Like I said, I mean, Duke was fighting for a backup spot, probably a 3rd string role. So I don't necessarily. I was talking to Louis earlier, and Clowney would be great, of course, but losing Duke Ejiofor is not the reason. You give it all up for Clowney. Like he wasn't going to start anyways. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, so you wanted to go through your depth chart, right?
For the defense, yeah.
For the defense, let me go first.
3-4 and 4-3, however you want to do it.
Okay, so let's just start off secondary. Garyon Conley.
As cornerback, like, are you saying this cornerback 1?
Cornerback 1.
I'm just asking. Like, I don't know if you were specifying or
cornerback 1.
Okay.
Roby 2. Justin Reed safety, and then hot take, surprise, Michael Thomas right next to him.
I can't disagree with that. The strong safety position, let him fight it out. Best player win.
Less player wins.
I would expect it to be Eric Murray, but what you were saying about the corners. So who do you have playing the slot? Let me ask you that.
Okay, I know Kenneth is gonna get mad,
Dude,
but
don't do it. Don't
but
don't do
what?
it. Don't do it.
I mean, obviously, you have to go Vernon Hargreaves, if not Lonnie Johnson. Lonnie is more of an outside corner.
So that's my thing. Is I think it's Roby and Conley on the outside to start, and then if Lonnie progresses like we expect, Roby moves inside, Lonnie
And then-
plays on the outside.
You see, and that was what Bill O'Brien said. You know, Bill O'Brien at the beginning of all this, he said he wanted Lonnie to play outside, which we have okay, great. Like he is an outside corner, 6'2", speed, length. You know, the only problem is that his technique wasn't good, and then now his technique looks like it's flawless, working out with the footwork king. But moving Roby inside with the speedy wide receivers these days, a la Tyreek Hill, you know, all these guys, that's going to be absolutely key. T.Y. Hilton, exactly. T.Y. Hilton is an absolute beast in the slot. Now, your fourth corner, Vernon.
I think so.
I think it's Vernon's job until John Reed just balls out.
Look, I know, again, you know, Weaver's talked high on John Reed, but how many times do you hear coaches talk bad on guys? Like, you don't hear that very often. You know what I'm saying?
Of course you don't, but you don't really see them like
John
suck the
Reed,
dude's chode like this.
I'm not saying John Reed's been bad, but he's a fourth round rookie. You know, a late fourth round rookie.
And why is he a late fourth round rookie, Cody? I know you know the answer to it.
Because he can't tackle.
Because he's short.
He doesn't want to tackle either, but yeah.
The main reason why is because he's short.
Okay.
That is.
I'll give you that, but also watching the film, that dude does not want to tackle.
Yeah, he cannot tackle good. Going back to it. Linebackers, one, Cunningham.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about just front seven. Let's go 3-4 first.
Let's go 3-4. JJ. And then I know you were hesitant about let's go. You know, you said that like that you don't think Blacklock's gonna. I mean, like you don't think Blacklock would get started at the beginning.
Like no, okay, I would prefer him to start at the beginning. I just don't. I think week one it's like that Deshaun Watson kind of thing where Angelo Blackson gets in to start the Kansas City game, and then Blacklock comes in and then just takes the job from there. You get what I'm saying?
If it's me, it's JJ, Blacklock, and Charles.
Okay, that's not what it is for me. You want why? I'm sure you've heard me before, but Blacklock's not that one tech.
Yeah, that's
you know
the thing.
Saying? He's that defensive end. So it's JJ and then Blacklock and then Dunn
in the middle.
It's that one tech.
So you will go Dunn over Blackson.
Because I think Dunn's more of a one tech and Blackson's more of a three tech, a defensive end.
Yep.
I think Dunn's going to give you more. You know, you want your one techs to eat up all the crap in the middle so your linebackers can come up and make all the tackles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think Dunn gives you more of that than Blackson does. But my situational for that D line, situational pass rush situation for the D line, in a 3-4, you know, you still get one at the end, and then you move Blacklock over to one tech.
Yep,
and then bring in a Menahu. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like that's not bad. I mean, either way, it's good. But the one thing about Blacklock is he's not really built like a defensive tackle because he tore his Achilles at TCU, drops 20 pounds. Like, you know, people compared his body size to what Aaron Donald is, and Aaron Donald...
He looks like Aaron Donald, even though he weighs more.
Aaron Donald is that prototypical defensive tackle, but but it's like a defensive end.
Yeah. So Donald plays the end in a 3-4 in Los Angeles. Blacklock actually kind of reminds me more of Chris Jones.
If he becomes Chris Jones.
I think he has that potential, but Chris Jones is a 3-tech and a 4-3 as well. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I expect him to be more like those guys than he is a Damon Harrison. Damon Harrison's a one take. You know
one take just eats up double teams. All that.
Exactly. And then Blacklock moves over and just like it's 3rd and 8, and you need as much pass rush as you can get. You move Blacklock to the middle because Dunn's not a pass rusher. And then you bring in a Menahu. You know, that's just the defensive line. We haven't even got to the linebackers yet. You know what I'm saying?
Won't you think it would change game to game?
I think guys like Black Sun will get sprinkled in there as well. It depends. Of course, this is all barring injury. Of course,
Of course.
if Watt goes down and Menahu starts at that other end spot, you know what I'm saying. So, it will change from game to game, and different guys will get in different sub packages. But that's what I would expect. That the Blacklock, Dunn, Watt, and then basically Menahu is the first guy off the bench for the interior D line.
So you basically want to run a 3-4.
I think that's what we're gonna run, and we can talk about the 4-3-2 because I kind of have the same thing. I'll explain it in a minute, but
So what's your 4-3? If the Texans
so
decide to run a
4-3,
4-3?
the D line. So the D line, your end is Whitney Merciless.
Yep.
Your other end is J.J. Watt.
Yep.
Your one tech is Dunn.
And then the other side is Blacklock.
Blacklock is your three tech. But in your situational pass rush, you either leave Witt or you get Jacob Martin in there. So whichever one you want to do. Move Blacklock to the one tech because it's situational pass rush. Bring Menahu in as that three tech. I think Menahu. A lot of people compare Menahu to like a Justin Tuck because they're body size and they look similar. Think more of Calais Campbell, DeForest Buckner when you think Charles Menahu. He's going to be better on the inside.
Absolutely.
He's tall and lengthy, so he looks like an end, but
he's able to play.
Campbell, exactly. He's strong. He's got the technique. His run game is what needs to work. He has pass rush moves.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think he starts right now. I think Blacklock's better in the run game than Menahu is right now, and Blacklock just came out of college. So
I agree. I mean, Blacklock was one of the best in college at being able to stop the run. So if we stick to that 4-3, you want Watt, Dunn, Blacklock.
Yeah, and then Witt on that. Or you said 4-3, right? Yeah. What?
No.
At the other. Oh, sorry. So yeah, those are the three I want, and the base. Situational, it changes up. I think a Menahu comes in, but that's essentially what it is. And then the linebackers. What do you think about the four linebackers?
I think one has to be Cunningham. I think Bernard McKinney has to be the 2. 3 if you're gonna go the linebackers. 1 has to be obviously Witt.
The Sam, right?
The Sam, and then the other one, I think you got to give Jacob Martin a shot.
See, here's my thing with that. So a lot, you look at a 3-4 and the linebackers, and a lot of people play Madden, and you just blitz them off the edge, right?
Yep.
So that's what everybody thinks both those linebacker spots are. Now,
but they have to drop back in coverage and do much more things.
The drop linebacker, like you're saying, they have to drop. They drop more than they rush. Both linebackers set the edge. But the drop or the jack, whatever you want to call it, drops in coverage more, while the Sam, Whitney, for example, rushes most of the time. So Jacob Martin has no business dropping into coverage.
I would drop Whitney back there if I'm being completely honest.
He played there
but you just paid him a bunch of money, so he has to go get those sacks.
Well, and he also played there when Clowney was here because Clowney was the Sam.
And he disappeared. And he was like nowhere.
And got exposed in coverage. So that other linebacker spot, I think, and I hate to say it, guys, but it is what it is. It's Brennan Scarlett for right now. Just because the person fighting for that spot is Jonathan Grenard. And like I said earlier, he has to learn the playbook.
Yeah.
He has to learn the playbook. And then the coaching staff loves Scarlett.
Absolutely.
And, I hope
versatile.
I hope Grenard can take that spot later in the season. But Scarlett's going to start like the first few weeks at least, just because they love him. He knows the defense. Like O'Brien's been saying, this is a vet year. It is what it is. But as far as the middle linebackers go, your base, I think McKinney's still your Mike because I think he runs the defense. I think he's used to running the defense. I don't think you're going to change that under a new coordinator. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Cunningham is the Will, the backside linebacker, but. And then in pass coverage situations or pass rush situations, Cunningham moves over. Dylan Cole comes in if healthy. If not healthy, I don't know who's coming in. I don't know who's coming in.
Yeah, but I mean, one thing that Anthony Weaver says that he wants to just get moving. Rotate people. Let's get to some of these
real quick. Something I could see that would be interesting is Dylan Cole actually playing that drop linebacker spot. If he's healthy. That would be. I would have him over Scarlett any day of the week. The only thing there is your depth at middle linebacker is trash.
Thin. It's thin.
Yeah, so I could see that. That would be something cool to watch. I would approve that. But your depth kind of just falls off if he gets hurt again. So
The man says, I say we get AB, stash him for 8 games, let him tear up the for the second half of the season. I mean, you can't really stash him if he's already suspended. He has every chance to tear up, the second half of the season in anywhere he goes to. I think he best suits Deshaun Watson or Lamar Jackson. I think he best suits these two quarterbacks just because the kind of person he is, the kind of player he is. He's a swag. He's a swag player. He's a drip player. Both of those two quarterbacks, Lamar and Deshaun Watson, have all of that. Morpho said, I think AB is overrated. I still wish I had Andre Johnson. AB is not overrated. AB is the best wide receiver in the NFL since J.B. Rice. Just the fact that he runs amazing routes, amazing hands. Footwork is absolutely phenomenal. And he was a third or a fourth round pick.
no, he was like a 5th round pick.
He was a 5th round pick. He chose his number 84 because, he said 84 teams passed on him. And then he was a boy. He said, John Reed doesn't have a chode. He has a massive Okay. He said, for an arid offense with Fuller and Cooks, if they stay healthy, it's going to be an arid conflict. What the kid on Kelsey do is, do you ever think we'll have another franchise changing tight end at some point? You never know.
Mark Andrews.
You think we're going to sign Mike Andrews?
No. Do you think? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he asked who was the next one.
I was like, what?
Okay, my bad. Misread the comment, but I don't know.
I don't know. It was CJ Fedorowicz. Oh, CJ was a beast, dude.
He
CJ
blocked too.
And his problem is he just kept on banging his head against the turf. The meta said, if we draft, turns out. But with Justin Reed and Zach Cunningham will look like they aren't about up for a new deal soon. Oh, this is something that we have to talk about. You're going to have to sign these two. And I think they'll stay able to be resigned. I think you can sign both of them for cheap. Still for cheap.
What is cheap?
I mean, not really cheap, but they're not gonna break the bank. That's what I'm saying, right? They're not gonna be like, he's one of the highest paid. Yeah, around 12 and a half, 13 mil per year type of players. Unless Justin Reed decides to be a freaking animal.
Yeah, it all depends on this season.
Yeah, it all depends. I mean, it's both their contract year. It's contract years for Will Fuller too.
Yeah.
I said that before. Bill Bree, it's super. I would eat every single crow you could put in front of me. Houston boy said, "What's up? What is going on?" After the offseason ending is possible. It absolutely is. Chong Fong, I don't know if that's your actual name, bro. He said, hi, hello. Phase, although Texas 99 said, Ruben, I'm such a fan. Thank you for your videos. You cheered me from depression. Watching your videos makes me absolute happy. Well, hey, I'm glad I could help, man. Doing these videos is tough, Cody. As you know, I'm working 13 days straight and then getting that 14-day off. So, you are the guys who motivate me to do this. Sometimes when I think about I'm not doing a video, I look at your guys' comments. I'm like, man, I gotta do one. Like last night, I wasn't supposed to do one about PJ Hall, but we ended up doing it, and that's why I told Cody why I love doing this, because it's for you guys. I'm not doing this for my health. like I want people to know that. I'm doing this because I love the Houston Texans, and I love doing this for you guys. But Cody, before I get here, there is a man here. He is the Storm.
He's back?
The Patrick Storm is back, ladies and gentlemen. Boom! Patrick Storm back. Patrick Storm, how's it going, buddy?
It's good, man. It's good.
It's good. So, big news today. Initial thoughts on Duke Ejiofor tearing ACL first day training camp.
My heart breaks for him, man. Duke's a good guy. He was super motivated to get back out there and be a part of this team. He knew the competition was going to be stiff, especially with what they did in the draft with drafting Gernard and Ross and having Jacob Martin there too. And it just he's heartbroken, but he's still really positive about it, which is crazy because 2 years in a row for him with stuff like this, he I don't know how he does it, man. I don't know how he's staying positive.
It's a strong person mentally to be able to still have high hopes after 2 back-to-back seasons. We and Cody said it ourselves. Is this the last? Like, do you honestly think it's the last we see of Mister Duke Ejiofor as a Houston Texan?
I don't know. I think if looking at the the salary cap and things like that, he's only got like a $900,000 cap hit next year. They save like $850,000 if they cut him. So I think it just depends on, you got to kind of see how things shake out with the guys that are on the roster this year. And if these guys go out there and they ball out and they have a great year, then yeah, I can see them moving on from Duke. But if they go out there and the pass rush is still mediocre, then why not hold on to him and see what he brings next year? The risk is very minimal, and the benefits could outweigh the risk of holding on to somebody like that.
Speaking of minimal risk, PJ Hall, the Houston Texans signed him yesterday, early in the morning. We found out about the news. What were your initial thoughts on PJ Hall, who is from the H?
Low risk, high reward type thing. We've seen what he can do. We see, if you go back and you look at the film, and Jordan did a really good job the other day breaking down some really good clips of PJ. He's got a lot of what they're looking for, and that's that interior push. He's got a really good bull rush.
Yep.
He does a really good job of locking out offensive linemen and breaking their hands off and getting to running backs. And so I think that's something that they really needed last year. And, if he's going to be cheap and if he can get into shape, then, why not?
Let me ask you all real quick, because he played a lot of one tech over in Oakland. But watching his film, he kind of fits more of that 3-tech defensive end spot to me. What do you think he plays over here? You think it's the 1-tech or the 3?
It's probably good. It's got to be the 1. Then again, it depends on what they do with Ross too.
But don't you think it's 1-tech for right now, and then when he loses the weight, which Bill O'Brien said he wants him to do, he transitioned to that 3-tech type of player?
Yeah, I can see it because he's got the size, right? He's not long. He's only 6 foot tall.
Yeah. So
he's a short guy, but he's got the weight to play the 1-tech right now. And if he can drop the weight and get down, and then they can move him, they can slide him outside and bring, keep Dunn or Blackson inside, then absolutely. That's the thing, is he can fill both spots. So,
guys, we are almost less than a month away from football. I wish we could see a bunch of the training camp that's going on. We heard a lot of good stories. We heard Ross Blacklock look good. We heard that Jordan Thomas, somebody who I said that the Houston Texans needed to be cut, who needed to cut. Apparently he did absolutely phenomenal today. I'm excited for this season, boys. I'm being completely honest with y'all.
Go. Are you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like talking with a couple of the reporters that were in person today, because they only let 10 people in, and so they're only going to take, they're not letting us in right now. Hopefully, we can get in for games. But talking to a couple of the guys that were there, David Johnson looked
jacked,
like absolutely. He looks like a linebacker. And Justin Reed was making some, great plays on the ball. Jordan Thomas and Will Fuller looked really good. And there's a lot of what we've wanted for the past few years to look good is starting to take shape, and so it'll be interesting to see if, with a short turnaround of these guys, only being in camp for a couple weeks, without any preseason, also if they can make it translate to the to week 1.
So, Patrick, and then I'll let Cody answer this too. The one thing I've been saying since the beginning is that I think the Houston Texans have a very good season if Bill O'Brien delegates his power correctly. We've heard the narrative that Bill O'Brien himself is a control freak. He wants everything done his way. Do you really think that he's going to let Tim Kelly control this offense the way Tim Kelly wants? And if he does, this offense has all the potential in the world to be dangerous.
Yeah, I think he's gotten to the point where he's kind of realized that he needs to let somebody else control things, because I'm not going to say control things, but call the shots on that side of the ball, because it's too much for him. He had way too much on his plate, with last year being without the title of the GM plus the head coach plus the offensive coordinator, you can't. It's hard for someone to run all three roles.
Yeah.
And I don't think he has. I don't want to sound like I'm insulting his mental capacity, but I just don't think he had it in him to be able to run all three things. It takes a very special person to do that, and
not everyone can be Belichick.
And Belichick doesn't even do all of it. And
he does the defense.
Yes and no. He has a defensive coordinator that he lets run things. He has a high amount of input on it, but he has an offensive coordinator that is in charge 100%. Josh McDaniels runs that offense. Belichick focuses on a lot of things, but at the end of the day, he's still not even the full-on GM, right? He has that title.
That's true.
But he has guys like Nick Caserio and Monty Ossenfort over there that are doing a fantastic job behind the scenes of doing these things for him. So Belichick, he may hold those titles, but he's not, taking the brunt of all that work on himself either. So, I think this is the year that Bill finally lets the reins go, and we kind of see what Tim Kelly can do.
I think so too. I also think it kind of depends. Like, so tell me what y'all think of this. Say it's going into week 7 and we're 2-4. Do you think he pulls play calling duty, or do you think he sticks with it? Because I know it might not necessarily be Tim Kelly's fault at that point.
I think he's got to stick with it, because if you start to pull things in, then you're messing with Deshaun.
Yep.
And so he knows what he has in Deshaun, and he knows what Deshaun needs to be successful. And they've got to let that bond grow if it's truly what's going to happen for the future. And you can't keep taking things away from Deshaun. You already took Godsey away from him. You can't you're taking yourself out of the equation now, and you put Tim Kelly there. You can't just keep changing things up on Deshaun, because it's never going to click. Yep. Regardless of how talented Deshaun is, you can't just there can't be that much turnover right now.
Real quick, I got a question. Because I just thought about it. What happened to the quarterback coach from last year that came from Seattle? Is he still with the team?
He's just I don't know his exact title, but he's still here.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, Carl Smith. It's Carl Smith. Yeah, so he's not the titled quarterback coach now. He's an offensive consultant or something like that.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Aaron Jackson says, sad to be a Barcelona fan. Man,
my boys put it on him today, man.
No. I was looking at the score. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. Mr. Pack from FaZe Aldo. Do you think the Houston Texans will shock us and sign Antonio Brown since D-Hop left? I say it's a 60% chance maybe Bill is surprising us.
I can't see it. Unless they have multiple injuries at the position and, around that time, I think Antonio's going to end up somewhere else if somebody's going to sign him. I just don't, there's no room here for him right now.
All right, boys, I got to hop out of here.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, we'll be on for a couple more minutes. Mr. Pat, you dropped an absolute bomb on Texans Unfiltered. A lot of people didn't hear, so I'm just going to relay it, that Bill O'Brien himself did talk to Mr. Jadeveon Clowney about the possibility of a return. I'm not sure if you're allowed to say what exactly happened, but if you can elaborate more, and also the chances of JD coming back to the H.
So they talked a little bit, and Bill just kind of threw it out there, like, if I make you a reasonable offer, would you consider it? And they talked more about how things should have been handled last time around, and kind of making up a little bit and kissing and making up. And so last I've heard is Jadeveon's considered the offer. I don't know what the numbers are. I don't really, honestly, I don't care. That's between them.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's we just got to wait and see. But last I heard that he's kind of leaning towards a team inside the AFC South, but it's not Houston. And I think everybody can kind of figure out who that's going to be. But the door in Seattle is still open. And so it's still up in the air right now. And if I was to put it I'd put it like 75% Tennessee, 20% Seattle, 5% Houston, if I had to break it down.
So what do you think it will take to bring him back? I mean, is it Watson calling him, be like, "Hey, we need you. You know, if you're here, we don't blow that 21-point lead. You know, you've told me yourself that like he lives away, like by Will Fuller. You know, what will it take to bring JD back to
Oh,
Houston?"
I'm sure those guys have been politicking for him already
Uh
to come
huh.
back. Kind of whispering in his ear, or like, you know, let's do it, man. Let's run it back. Like, come on. And I'm sure it's happened from multiple people that are on the roster. Um,
I think
I don't
he's
know.
conflicted
I
about it.
think Jadavian, he's just got to think long and hard about it, and that's
It's
a
a big
big step for
decision.
him, because if it does a couple of things for him. One, it gives him an opportunity to play for a team that's competitive. Two, it helps his reputation around the league, that if he comes here for 1 year, teams are going to look at him and be like, man, that guy looked past what, kind of how things were handled the last time around, um, for the opportunity to play again and be competitive. And, he's already got this bad rap of being a lazy and, bad work ethic type of guy. And I think if Houston brings him back, I think that can kind of blow that narrative out of the water, because, if you're lazy and you have a terrible work ethic, what team is going to reach out to you and want to re-sign you again?
Hmm.
Right? Like, even after they trade you away, what team is going to want to bring you back? And so
Exactly.
I think it would do wonders for his reputation too. So I think if he's looking at it for the long game, that it absolutely makes sense to come here versus going to someone like Tennessee or even Seattle. So
And what would it say about Bill O'Brien himself? Because the whole narrative on OB, I remember like me and you talked about this on the people who don't work hard, that it's either his way or Bill O'Brien look if he's able to bring back somebody like a Jadeveon Clowney.
um, I think it could go one of two ways. It would make Bill look like either like a genius for being
Mm-hmm.
able to trade somebody away and then get them back, and basically retain everything besides Berkevius Mingo. Um, but it could also make him look like he's desperate, and kind of in a way he is, right? Like, what head coach in the NFL isn't out there looking for the type of talent that Jadeveon, like we know Jadeveon has. So, every team can use that type of talent. I think there's maybe 2, 3 teams in the NFL that have a defensive line that's up to snuff, that really couldn't, find a spot for his services right now. And I think there's, several GMs and head coaches in the NFL right now that would love to have Jadeveon on their team, because they know what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
So I think it can go one of two ways for Bill. It can either make him look really good, but it also, in the eyes of some people, it can make him look like, he knows he screwed up last time around and shouldn't have done it. And so it kind of make him look a little indecisive.
Houston Texans talk said Brazil all day.
Nah, man. What happened last time? 7-1? What was it, right? 7-1?
Yeah,
Like
just about.
nah, but last World Cup, Germany got spanked, so it's all good. They got their revenge.
Yeah, so uh, Watson today, he said something that I think was very fun, but like maybe kind of a shot. Right? Last year he said that his favorite route was a deep ball to 10, and then
Mhm.
today he said his favorite deep route is a deep route to Stills, a deep route to Cooks, a deep route to like the other receivers. It's like I'm very excited for these wide receivers if they stay healthy.
Yeah, and he is and he should be. He knows he's got a lot of talent around him now. So I mean, Deshaun's not naive to know that these guys don't have a past with injuries, but he also knows what they are capable of, and he's seen what all these guys have been able to do in the past. So this is honestly, without Hopkins, this is probably the best wide receiver group he's ever
Been
been
with.
able to throw to.
And also to add a little more fuel to the fire, his QB coach is it Jason Palmer, right? It's Jason
Jordan
Palmer.
Jordan Palmer.
I'm sorry, Jordan Palmer said that the Houston Texans might have won the DeAndre Hopkins trade because now DeAndre is not that safety blanket for Mr. Deshaun Watson anymore, and now he has more like opportunities to spread the ball around.
Yeah, and that's what we've kind of talked about
Yep.
for months now. since the trade happened and the signing of Cobb and the trade for Cooks and stuff like that. We've talked about that at length. That he's got to have he's going to have that one go-to guy that he's going to look for sometimes, but it's not going to always be Hopkins anymore. He's going to have a favorite receiver, and that's going to be obvious. But he knows that he's got other guys that are going to be open around him that he can get the ball to. And so it's Jordan and him work really close together. He works with Quincy all the time as well. But things might not have worked out for Jordan in the NFL, but he's a really intelligent guy.
Yeah, he knows his stuff.
He knows his stuff. He knows the game really well. And so when you look at guys like Kellen Moore, who it didn't work out in the NFL for him, but you can go and become a coach, and it finally clicks for you, and it's just you find your role somewhere else. And so that's one thing that Jordan's done, and he's done a really good job at it, and he's helped Deshaun a lot with his transition from Clemson to the Texans. So
I think this whole narrative on the Houston Texans is absolutely false, Patrick. They think we're going to absolutely be horrible. A bunch of the media does. And I mean, I kind of see where they're coming from, but what they don't know is that this offensive line is going to be a top 10 offensive line in the NFL. Yep. When you get back all starters healthy and they played very good together, I think they went 4-1 as a starting group. I've always said it before that the offensive line is the foundation of the offense, of the house, which is the powerful offense. If this offensive line stays healthy, this team is all systems go offense side of the ball.
Absolutely. Yeah. It for the first time in forever, they have the offensive line returning as a unit. And we, like you said, we saw what they could do when they were all there, when all 5 of those guys were there. Nick Martin looked better last year because he had better guard play next to him.
Yes.
The tackles looked better because they had better guard play next to him. The tackles looked better because they had better guard play. The guards looked better because they had better tackle play next to him. So, it takes time for these guys to click. And unfortunately, Titus went down with an injury last year. And so it sucked because you had guys like you there?
I'm here.
All right.
I'm once again about that Wi-Fi.
So you had guys like Roger Johnson switching in there, Chris Clark, and it just they're swing tackles at best. They're made to come in for 10 plays a game, to run their set plays, and that's it. They're not meant to be out there, 60 snaps a game. That's just not how those guys are meant to play in the NFL. And so that hurt them last year. But I think if, like you said, if these guys can stay healthy, this is easily a top 10 offensive line. And all that does is make everything easier for this offense. It makes it easier for the running backs. It gives the wide receivers time to get open, which shouldn't be a problem with the speed. And it gives Deshaun Watson time to dissect that defense and start to dice them up.
So FaZe has a good comment. He says, here's the thing. We need one good wide receiver. That's why I'm saying Will Fuller can be guarded. And that's why I say we might get AB. I mean, if you don't get AB, I still think this wide receiving core is absolutely dynamic if they stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, because they can do so many different things. You've got guys, they're all great deep threats. But if you look at it, Will Fuller's route tree has grown year over year.
Yes.
His route running ability has gotten a lot better. Brandon Cooks is an excellent route runner. So is Randall Cobb. Okay. But don't forget, Kenny Stills is still there. Kenny Stills doesn't get talked about enough. With his ability. And we saw what he could do last year.
Yep.
He was an instant impact on this offense with only being here for 10 days before the season started. So I'm excited for that. And all that's going to do is help open things up for the backfield, for the running backs, to 1, rush the ball, 2, catch the ball out of the backfield, and the tight ends are going to eat too.
I'm glad you said running backs, because I did a video 2 days ago about Duke Johnson, and I think he has a chance to be absolutely better this season because when Carlos Hyde was on the field, the Texans were going to run the ball.
Yep.
You knew they were.
Yeah, you're running with a hot hand. You got to keep going. I mean, Carlos Hyde for the first time in his career breaks 1,000 yards, right? He's come close before. Not to make it look like he just suddenly became a good running back. He's come close in a couple of years before. But when a guy like that is out there and he's doing what he's doing, you don't take them off the field.
Absolutely
So that kind of
not.
that impacted Duke's game. But when we saw Duke out on the field, we saw what Duke was capable of, and we've seen that in years past too. So I think Duke is heavily slept on, and I know we traded a 3rd-round pick for him, but to me it was capital well spent.
810 all-purpose yards, 5 touchdowns. Is only going to get better with the addition of Mr. David Johnson. OD 5.0 says badass German shirt.
Thank you.
Hardy Dugan has a question. Over or under games Will Fuller 10 games?
I'm gonna take the over.
I am too, just because this dude looks absolutely jacked. And not only that, because of the many wide receivers that we have. This offense is now kind of a pick your poison offense, because they're going to be scared of the deep ball. So, they're going to play back, keep everything in front of them. Well, then the tight ends will eat up. And if you want to stop tight ends, the running backs are going to eat up. I think that takes a lot of the pressure of being healthy off Will Fuller as well. And as a whole, just this offense is going to be, just fantastic. That's why I put over $300 down on Mr. Deshaun Watson to be the MVP.
That's a hefty bet.
Yeah, hefty bet.
What was the?
It was. Now it's 16 to 1.
It's a good payout.
It is a very good payout. You know who else has a good payout? Sam Darnold. He's 10,000 to 1.
Just put $5 on it, man.
$5. Right? I hope he just absolutely buzzed that. We're going to be on for a little, just a while longer. Just want to give a huge shout out to Pat, and what he's doing with Texans Unfiltered is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I don't right. I try to focus, but I really love to watch, and I actually learn from you guys. I learn from the way James talks, the way he talks. Jordan himself is absolutely being a monster, doing what he's doing. And then you, man, I always have to have your Twitter on notifications on, because I don't know when you're going to drop a bomb,
I'm hoping soon, man. I hope we get something good soon.
So, okay,
we'll see in the next few days.
Just to segue off that, if it's not Clowney, what could it be? It can't be Everson Griffin, because homeboy just
Everson's in Dallas now.
He's in Dallas. Is it Josh Gordon?
Jamal Shear's been thrown around a lot.
Yes.
Mike Daniels, unfortunately, he signed. Well, I'm not gonna say unfortunately, he signed with Cincinnati.
That defense line is gonna be stacked.
Terrell Suggs is still out there. Clay Matthews. I mean, there's still some guys out there. I mean, we're not gonna act like we just lost. We just lost JJ.
Yeah.
Not to speak ill of Duke, but Duke right now, we don't know what he really was. We saw a lot of flashes, but we never saw consistency. Unfortunately, last year he tears his Achilles. This year, now it's going to be the ACL. So we don't really know what we had with Duke, but obviously there's still a need to get pass rush, and I think between Jabal or Clay Matthews or Terrell Suggs, even if they just bring him in as a rotational piece, just to add depth and veteran leadership on that, that group, that front seven, it can't hurt. So it's, it sucks. It sucks for Duke, and I really like Duke, but
he's a good person.
Yeah, he is, and he's very humble, and he's an extremely hard worker, man. And he was super upbeat with, everything that happened earlier. Was talking to one of his friends that was FaceTiming him while he was waiting on the MRI results. And he was saying nothing but, positive things. And so it's just, for someone that's been so close the past 2 years, it really sucks.
The Houston Texans say that people don't see, but Jadeveon Clowney eventually he'll get a prove-it deal with the Texans because he knows Derrick Henry is not going to carry the Titans all the time. Houston Texans, thank you. I mean, that's not a bad. That's not a bad take. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. It's depends on how he looks at it, man. If he's looking at it for dollar signs or if he's looking at it for opportunity.
I think he wants to win.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, he's a competitor. Don't get me wrong. Jadeveon is absolutely a competitor. Jadeveon doesn't have to go out and work as hard as everybody else to be as good as he is because he's just an athletic freak, right? So I think that's kind of what gets lost in a lot of people's eyes is that maybe if he did, kind of apply himself a little bit better, that he could be so much better.
Yeah.
So it depends on what he's looking for, man.
So last comment before we get out, because I have to work early in the morning. It is from Mr. Aaron Rodgers himself. He said, people wonder why I switched from scotch to tequila. I tell them, look at the head coach I'm playing for.
What's wrong with LaFleur, man? He doesn't like Matt LaFleur?
But either way, I'm sorry. Last question. Aaron has been asking this 3 times. How many Texans do you think make the Pro Bowl?
1, 2, 3.
And no, Arvis, he is not really Aaron Rodgers. He's
5.
not.
I'm gonna go 5.
Deshaun Tunsil.
Oh, so 6. All right,
Okay.
I forgot Laramie. Okay.
Oh.
So Deshaun, Laramie, Zach, Justin, JJ, and Brandon Cooks.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And maybe as a wild card, I'll throw in one of the tight ends. Maybe.
Oh, well, hopefully it's the water polo tight end. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Patrick Storm, and also Cody. Before his girlfriend told him to get off the live stream. Guys, we do this for you guys. We don't, like I said, we don't do this for our health. We do this because we love this team for whatever reason why we're gonna always continue to love. Pat, thank you for coming. Always, guys, go Astros, go Rockets, go Texans.